Steph Curry just flipped the script. LeBron's GOAT status is officially being questioned. Fire, you won't believe what he said that's sending shockwaves through the NBA.
It made me the greatest player of all time. And then after I stopped, I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
Do you think LeBron James ever feels pressure from Steph Curry? Because today, whenever people talk about the NBA GOAT, many fans think the answer is Clay. The name comes to mind immediately.
Modern MJ, I used to see this playing with the Bulls. Half the crowd's got, red 23 jerseys on, and, now half the crowd's got blue and yellow 30 jerseys. Steph is, he transcends the game. He elicits an emotion from people. I think because he's so awe-inspiring with his play that no matter where we go, there are people who are cheering for him and can't wait to see him perform because we've never seen anything like him.
Take a moment and imagine something. What if Steph Curry had never played in the NBA? Imagine the league without the baby-faced assassin showing everyone that deep three-pointers could destroy defenses. Modern basketball would look completely different. Without that change, LeBron James might have ruled this era with almost no real challenge. The GOAT debate might have started and ended with his name. His stats, championships, highlights, and finals runs were all building the perfect case for him to stay on top forever. It seemed like the crown was his. Then number 30 arrived, smiling, fearless, and shooting from distances that made coaches nervous.
Face assassin. He's been a joy to watch for me. People always say, well, how come your favorite player is not a big man? I've played against the greats like the Barkley. I've seen it all. Never quite seen anybody like that kid, and that's why he's my favorite player. He does stuff that I've seen it in spurts. I played with a guy by the name of Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Yeah. For 4 or 5 minutes in the game, he could do that. I've seen it with the guys who I play with, but this guy's been doing it his whole career, and he's a joy to watch. And that's why he's my favorite player.
With every deep three that splashed through the net, Steph slowly started taking away the one thing LeBron wanted most, the clear title of the greatest basketball player ever. Let's go back to 2014. At that time, LeBron's legacy looked unstoppable. He was 30 years old and still in the middle of his prime. He had already reached 4 straight NBA Finals, and the entire league seemed to revolve around him. If any team wanted to win a championship, they had to get past King James. That was simply the reality of the NBA at that time.
What do you think of when you watch Steph Curry?
I see a calmness about him. I see a calmness about him, and I think it's something that a lot of players don't understand. I think the fans, it's very hard for the fans to really understand what I'm saying, because most players don't get it. But there's a serious calmness about him, which is extremely deadly, right? Because he's not up, he's not down, he's not contemplating what just happened before or worrying about what's to come next. He's just there. And when a player has the skills and has trained himself to have the skills to be able to shoot, dribble, left, right, etc., and then you mix that with this calmness and poise, then you have a serious problem on your hands. And so when I watch him play,
once again, everything seemed perfect. Cleveland had built a brand new team around LeBron, with 2 All-NBA level players ready to support their leader. By age 30, Michael Jordan had 3 championships. LeBron already had 2. The gap was small, and it felt like destiny was about to close it. But destiny had another plan, and its name was Steph Curry. When the 2015 season arrived,
and that right here is the best of all of them.
The Cleveland Cavaliers stepped onto the court with the whole basketball world watching. They were the clear favorites to win the championship. Right at the center of it all was LeBron James, confident, focused, and surrounded by a talented roster ready to win it all. Everything seemed to be falling into place. He was stronger, smarter, and playing some of the best all-around basketball anyone had seen. The next step toward catching Michael Jordan didn't just feel close, it felt inevitable. Then Stephen Curry exploded onto the scene. This calm, smooth shooting guard suddenly turned the entire league upside down almost overnight.
Show that it's close, but in my opinion, Curry's impact has been far greater than LeBron's.
Suddenly, defenses were scrambling, arenas were exploding with excitement, and the Golden State Warriors were becoming a real threat. Over the next 4 seasons, LeBron James fought his way to 4 straight NBA Finals. On paper, that sounds legendary. But the final results told a tougher story. 1 painful loss, 1 incredible championship, then a gentleman's sweep, and finally a full sweep. 1 title in 4 tries. And every one of those battles led back to the same name, Stephen Curry, whose full name is Wardell Stephen Curry. Without Curry, the Warriors likely never become the unstoppable team that dominated the league. Without him, there's no three-point revolution changing how basketball is played. There's probably no dynasty rising in the Bay Area, and no reason for Kevin Durant to join an already dangerous squad. Curry didn't just change the game. He changed LeBron's path. But one thing should be clear. LeBron wasn't slowing down. Not even close. What he did in the 2016 NBA Finals remains one of the greatest moments in sports history, leading Cleveland back from a 3-1 deficit against a 73-win Warriors team. Still, when the GOAT debate comes up, the numbers are always part of the conversation. A 1-for-4 Finals record during that stretch, even with a strong roster, left a mark critics still talk about today.
Jordan of Michael Jordan. Of Michael Jordan. To Michael Jordan.
Now here's where things get really interesting. Imagine a timeline where Stephen Curry never existed. No deep three-pointers, no Warriors dynasty, and no Splash Brothers era with the Golden State Warriors. In that version of history, LeBron James might have dominated the league during those years. There's a real chance he wins 4 straight championships. That could have meant 7 rings, 7 titles, and a resume that might completely change the GOAT debate. With achievements like that, many people might place LeBron above Michael Jordan without much argument. But that reality never happened, because Steph Curry did exist. His arrival changed the story of modern basketball. Instead of 7 finals wins, LeBron finished with 4. Instead of 3 losses, the number grew to 6. That shift changed the entire GOAT conversation. Once the finals record became 4-6, critics began using it against LeBron. No matter how many points he scores, assists he records, or records he breaks, that finals record always follows him. In many ways, Curry didn't just challenge LeBron's dominance. His success with the Warriors pushed the GOAT debate further away from LeBron's side.
Pass the ball. I think LeBron is a complete player. He played both ends.
And the wild part is that the damage wasn't just about rings or statistics. It goes deeper than that. To really understand it, you have to look at how greatness is built. Everyone remembers Michael Jordan and his famous 6-0 record in the NBA Finals. That stat alone keeps him at the top of many GOAT debates. But what people often forget is the struggle before the success. Before Jordan became unstoppable, he kept running into the same nightmare, the Detroit Pistons. In 1988, after Jordan won both MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, he faced the Bad Boys, led by Isaiah Thomas, and the Pistons beat his team 4-1. The next year it was closer, but Detroit still won the series 4-2. Those losses pushed Jordan to improve until he finally broke through. But for LeBron James, his version of the Bad Boys had a different name.
If Stephen Curry didn't exist, LeBron would probably be the unanimous best player of all time.
For LeBron James, that obstacle had a different name, Stephen Curry. Back in 1990, the battles between Michael Jordan and the Detroit Pistons became more intense and personal. But the results stayed the same. 3 straight playoff exits against the same team. The same painful wall standing in his way. That's what real adversity looks like. The difference is how a legend responds. Jordan didn't run from the challenge. He faced it head on. He took every loss personally and turned that frustration into motivation. Then in the 4th year, everything changed. Jordan finally broke through the wall that had been stopping him. And once he did, the league eventually became his kingdom. It took years of heartbreak, frustration, and doubt for Jordan to reach the top. Every loss left a scar. But instead of breaking under pressure, he studied those defeats, learned from them, and came back better every time. Once he figured out how to win, he never looked back. And this part of the story isn't just about rings or statistics. It's about character, about what someone does when they get knocked down and the world seems to say no. Jordan stepped straight into that storm and pushed through every obstacle. Now compare that to the path LeBron took in 2010. At just 25 years old, he left Cleveland to join the Miami Heat and form a super team with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Many people understood the decision. He wanted stronger support around him, and eventually it paid off with championships. But when we jump ahead to 2014, the situation starts to feel very different.